from clubhouse to clubhouse. So thank you so much. We've got a couple of speakers lined up to just give you some words. Really, my concept and the idea was just an opportunity to focus on a call to action, right? Like, what can we do? That question is something that we hear all the time. What can I do? What can we do? So that's the focus for the speakers that are going to be coming up, is to just speak on that call to action, what it is for them. We've got about 3 speakers. They'll have a different angle that they'll be talking on. I'm going to close this out, and then we are going to end with a moment of prayer. Hopefully you all had a chance to grab some of the snacks, because again, you made it. We got here. I can't thank you enough for coming out and supporting this. Thank yourselves. I really appreciate everything. So yeah, give yourselves another round of applause. Awesome. Okay. So as I mentioned, we've got a couple of speakers on deck. I won't take too much of your evening up. It's a great day. Didn't the weather hold out for us nicely? Woo! I know, I was a little worried at first, but it held out for us very nicely. So the first person coming up, Quincy. Would you like to?
Hello, Aliana. How's everybody doing? Everybody doing all right? Okay, guys, I am so proud of this community. I am proud to be a part of the Aliana community. This community comes together. This community is a part of what we are really trying our best to put together here. We are a family of love, a community that supports each other, a community that comes together through thick and thin, through the good times and the bad times. We have seen that time and time and time again. So the reason for the march today is a march against racism, right? But then also we want to talk about what we can do as a community to make things better, not only for our community, but for the communities that are outside of the Aliana community. So what we want to talk about is the first thing. So I have been talking to a lot of my friends that live in the community, and one of the things that came up is that how can I, in my household, fight against racism? Well, one of the things that we discussed is when you mention a person, mention that person as a person. Well, what do you mean, Quincy? That person that you're mentioning, when you talk to them, it does not have to be a black person. That person does not have to be a white person or an Asian person or a person, somebody that's Russian. What they are, at the end of the day, they're a one person. That's a person. Right? So what that means is we're trying, if you want to make change in the home, that's the first place. Avoid using the word black, white, Asian. We're all people. We're a body. And that's what our kids need to learn. Right? Does everybody agree with me?
Yeah.
All right. Speak back to me now. So our community, when I say that we've come together, that's what we have done. Once a year, we all come together and we try our best to give to families outside of our community. Last year alone, we raised $20,000 to feed 190 people with a week's worth of groceries. And we took that, not only did we do that, but we had over 400 volunteers. And of those 400 volunteers, 50 of them were our local police officers. So I want to commend each and every one of you for helping with that event. But we want to take it to the next level, because that was one of the other items that were mentioned by the community members that I spoke with. They said, well, what can we do other than just delivering groceries to families that are in need? what we're proposing today as an action plan is that we start a community event once a quarter. So what that means is that every quarter, the Aliana community will be doing something to reach people outside of the four walls of this community. Okay, does everybody agree with me? Can everybody here agree and say that I am committed to being a part of reaching out outside of our community? Last and final, I am putting together a petition at this moment. And here's the reason why. Our police officers love us. They have been absolutely wonderful in our community. Now, that may not be the case for other communities and other places. I can't speak for them. But for the local police officers in our area, they have been very supportive in everything that we have tried to put together in this community. So one of the things that we're looking at doing and putting a petition together for is to try our best to help our kids that are growing up and driving cars when they go to their student driving courses, that there be an additional course added to that course curriculum on how to act or approach themselves when faced with not confrontation, but faced with a police officer. When a police officer pulls you over, what should you do? What are some of the things that you can do to help avoid any issues that may avoid you from getting back to your family? So in order to do that, we want to see change in that aspect, so that what I'm telling my kid may not be the same thing that you're telling your kid about how to interact with police officers. But if we were to have that as one centralized thing that we could do to help our kids interact with police officers, I think that will help us out in that area. So those were the 3 action items that I wanted to discuss. Thank you for coming out, and I appreciate everyone. Aliana, you are the best.
Really quickly before we have Alana come up, who's going to speak next, and we're keeping these short. Thank you all for your attention and again for coming out. I want to make sure that we take this opportunity to thank those men that got us here safely. Deputy Michael Bright, Sam Assad, and Terrence Green. Thank you all so very much. We appreciate you keeping us safe on this walk and getting us safely to this clubhouse. My understanding, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I am, is that if anybody needs a police escort, wants to ride in the back of a vehicle, they might take you back to the other clubhouse.
Emma? Oh wait, you're on your back.
It's not very comfortable back there, so you'll just want to stay for a short time. All right, thank you. So Alana Hill is coming up.
All right, thank you. All right, give it up, Aliana. Woo! I've had the honor of living in Fort Bend County all of my adult life. I've been in Fort Bend County for 20-something years, because that's how old I am. Right? Okay. And the entire time I've lived here, I have enjoyed celebrating the rainbow of colors, of cultures that we have in our county and in our community. And Aliana is an extension of that. I've been in Aliana 7 years now, 7 of those 20 years. And the entire time, one of the things that always sticks out is how united we are in understanding how different we are. Sounds like an oxymoron, but it's not. We are united in our differences. Everybody in Aliana has differences that they celebrate. And one of the ways that we celebrate those differences is teaching not just our children, but those around us how to do the work of anti-racism. Raise your hand if you are a leader. Let me see your hand if you're a leader. I want to see every hand go up because you are all leaders. Come on, baby, let me see your hand come up. There we go. You're all leaders. And because we're all leaders, you have influence wherever you go. And you can use that influence to fight racism. And the first thing you have to do is to help people identify what it is. And no, that doesn't mean you have to get all salty with people and give them attitude, but sometimes we have to speak the truth in love so that people can have teachable moments. We have to be willing to have those uncomfortable conversations. The only way that we are going to have change within our United States and in our community is to lead that change. We have to be willing in our community, so not just in Aliana, but in our schools, in Fort Bend ISD, or if your children are in public school, lead those conversations. Be the leaders of inclusive conversation. Be the leader in your organization of leading inclusivity in your organization and helping people understand. It starts with, for example, who can tell me what today is?
Juneteenth.
And what does that celebrate?
End of slavery in Texas.
End of slavery. Did everybody get that? Huh? Known slavery. Right. So that was when we got word in Texas late. We're not salty anymore. But we got the word late that slavery had ended for Texas, and that our men who were here could have fought for the Union Army. So when the Union Army arrived here, they let us know of this emancipation, which was then codified at the end of that year. So slavery was not legally abolished until the end of 1865, but we still want to celebrate that emancipation. And we want to make sure that we understand that American history is Black history, and that Black history is American history. That starts in each and every home, not just in Black homes, because that doesn't do our nation a service. It happens in every home and in every school. Y'all know they call slaves volunteer workers in the textbooks that your children learn from in Fort Bend ISD. Get woke, have conversations, lead the change. Leaders in Aliana?
Woo!
All right, let's lead the change.
All right, thank you. And now coming up next, my sister-in-law, you say your title?
She'll say her title. She's the leader too, so she's going to take the reins.
Hello. I'm not from Aliana, but I have lived here in Fort Bend County with my brother our whole lives. And I really don't get into the idea of titles, but we live in Fulshire, and when Sharmia told me about this idea, and I'm just so incredibly proud of her for just accepting the call and rising to it. And so the thing that she asked me to be here for is because I'm a prosecutor. My name is Tyra Jones McCollum, and I'm a prosecutor here in Fort Bend County. And so that means that I am every bit, yes, I'm the chief of the juvenile division. And so rehabilitating juveniles is my life. But really that hand clap belongs to you all, because we're all their village, right? We are all the village responsible for raising them. But what she asked me to be here and to be the voice for is that I also stand as this voice with law enforcement, because I'm an arm of that law enforcement. But what the takeaway is, I want the takeaway to be for you, is that in this education process, as was just said, that there's absolutely nothing about the Black Lives Matter that takes away the value of a blue life. There's nothing about the Black Lives Matter movement. Yeah, it doesn't take away from any life. And in fact, really what the Black Lives Matter movement and what that call to action says is, I tried to explain it to someone not too long ago, and I said, well, would it make you feel more comfortable if I said to you, Black Lives Matter, comma, also? Would it make you feel more comfortable if I said to you that Black Lives Matter, comma, equally? Or would it make you more comfortable for me to say to you, Black Lives Matter as much? They matter as much as a blue life, as an all life. They matter as much. And that is what people are asking for. That is what we, as Black people in America, that is what we are asking for it to matter as much. And so I don't know how many of you can see this shirt. And and I'll read it to you if it can't. It says, I can't keep calm because I have 3 black sons. And they're here. 1, 2, and I don't know what the other one is. 3. And I have nephews, and I have my dad and my brothers. And, I thought about this today, and I said, and you would think, you're my jury right now, so I'm giving you my closing argument, which is, I can't keep calm. My shirt should say more than the fact that I can't keep calm. What you should know is not only can I not keep calm, I can't keep quiet. I can't sleep. I literally can't breathe every time I send one of my boys out of the house. Whether it's the nighttime or the morning time or the daytime, I pray over them and I teach them in my home. I teach them literally, you are the change of the world. Go change it. But when I send them outside my door, I teach them passivity and I teach them obedience because I just want them to get home. And until you have had that feeling, and until you know that feeling in your heart, until you stay up watching on a tracker a 21-year-old make it from destination A to destination B, until you know that, then you can't feel the depth of how much that black life and that black life and that black life matters. They matter to me, and so they should matter to you. Because if we're not okay, you're not okay. And so I say to you that this place is about, this Black Lives Matter movement is just saying to you, please listen, we're not okay. And we're asking you to join us and to help us be okay. It takes your voice to help all of us be the voice of change. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. She wanted you to speak. You ready? All right. Thank you all again. I just have a few closing words, and then, as I mentioned, we are going to end with DeMaurice Babineau, who's going to wrap it all up in a prayer of unity for us as we head home. I've had not a lot of sleep in the last few nights, so I wrote mine down that I'm going to refer to. Hopefully you'll appreciate my words in candor. But I just wanted you all to know, as my sister-in-law mentioned, in my drive to organize this, sort of where the call came from, if you will. And so I again thank you. I appreciate you all stepping forward and supporting this as well. And in the recent words, I should say, of Dave Chappelle, the streets are speaking. Right? Yeah. I don't know if you've seen that special. If you have not, see it away from your children, but see it nonetheless. It is very worthy to be seen and raw. So he talks about that. But I wanted to just share with you. So a few weeks ago, as all of the recent events were happening in the world, I sat down with my children and we had the talk, right? The talk. And so for those that may not know, I feel like everybody pretty much does. The talk is, what do you do when you encounter law enforcement? What does that look like? And I'll be honest with you. Here's the news flash. Here's the inside scoop. What we tell our children, plain and simple, comply explicitly. That's it. So specifically, I told my children, if you're asked to put your hands behind your back, do that. If you're asked to put your hands up, comply. If you're asked to lay on the ground, comply to do it without question. And my 6-year-old looked at me and said, but mommy, what if they still shoot me? Mm-hmm. Right. That was my call to action. I could no longer sit just watching the events on TV as they were happening. I had to do. This was my do. So my call to you is, what is your do? What does that look like for you? As we leave from here and you walk safely back to your homes, my ask, my prayer is that you think about things differently, that you actively are anti-racist. It's beyond the sign, silence is violence. If you are actively anti-racist, that means you are speaking up when you see an injustice. we all have to stand in this fight, united. It was really important to me to have the idea of unity. And so you may encounter some uncomfortable conversations. Just know in that discomfort is vulnerability. And being vulnerable helps you to know, I need you. You need me. And we need each other. So Aliana, thank you so much. I appreciate again you coming out and your support. We're going to close in prayer with Demoris Babineau, and you all are welcome to hang out, fellowship. Thank you all.
Hello, as she said, my name is Demoris Babineau. I'm an associate minister at the Fort Bend Church, where Byron Stevenson is our senior pastor. So if you would, just bow your heads for a moment of silent meditation and prayer. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Heavenly Father, your word teaches us that we are better together. When we come together in unity, we are better, oh God. Father God, we've come this afternoon or this evening, oh God, just with our differences set aside, oh God. We all come from different diverse backgrounds, oh God, different education, different levels of social standing, oh God. But we come here together, oh God, putting all those things aside, oh God, because we know that when we come together, oh God, that no form of evil can win, oh God, because love defeats evil all day. So Father God, we come right now, God, just thanking the people who've come out here to get together today, oh God, just asking and praying, oh God, that you would just touch every heart, oh God, give them the strength, oh God, to go out and be change agents, oh God, not to let this end here, but to continue this in their hearts and in their everyday lives, oh God. Father God, let them be the change that they want to see in their community and in their daily lives, whether it be at work or wherever they go, God. Father God, we just continue to give you thanks, give you honor, and we give you praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.